Bigfoot's Underground Tunnel Network. Houston to Longview to Texarkana. Chapter 1. The Eastern Enigma. The sun hung low in the Texan sky, casting a brilliant canvas of oranges, purples, and reds. Birds made their way back to their nests, and the serene landscape bore no hint of the puzzle that had come to perplex Corbin Foxsworthy. It all started innocently enough. A casual chat over drinks with a group of farmhands had led to an evening filled with stories about Bigfoot. But what initially sounded like the usual tall tales and folklores began to paint a different picture in Corbin's mind. Why were the majority of these sightings, these mysterious and unexplainable encounters, limited to the far eastern regions of Texas? Poring over multiple reports and anecdotal accounts, Corbin began to notice a pattern. Each description bore uncanny similarities: large shadowy figures seen at the edge of dusk, strange vocalizations echoing through dense woods, and occasional blurry photographs which added to the mystery. With a growing restlessness and the urge to solve this enigma, Corbin decided to investigate. Days turned into weeks, and his search had brought him to the outskirts of Texarkana. He'd heard about a series of sightings in a specific patch of woods near the town. It was said that a peculiar hum could be heard during the evening hours and that a faint blue light seemed to emanate from the ground. Corbin trekked through the dense woods, guided by his compass and the stories he'd heard. His journey took him through tangled bushes and the occasional brook, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Until he stumbled upon it. There it was, a narrow, deep creek crevice. But what caught his attention wasn't its depth. It was the glow. A soft blue light seemed to emanate from deep within. It wasn't natural, it was pulsating. Tentatively, Corbin approached the edge. The hum he'd heard about was more pronounced here. Leaning forward slightly, he strained his ears and then froze. There were voices. Not human voices, but a series of deep, guttural sounds. They echoed up from the abyss below, sounding both distant and yet crystal clear in the quiet of the evening. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath him. Startled, Corbin lost his balance and teetered on the edge of the crevice. The voices grew louder, more urgent. Just as he felt himself being pulled into the glowing chasm, a hand grabbed his wrist, yanking him back to safety. Breathing heavily, heart pounding in his chest, Corbin found himself face to face with an elderly man. His silver hair was wild, eyes wide and wary. "You shouldn't be here," the man whispered, his voice hoarse. I heard the voices," Corbin stammered, still in shock. The old man nodded slowly. "Many have. Not many live to tell the tale. This isn't just a crevice, it's a gateway." "A gateway? To what?" The old man glanced around, ensuring they weren't being watched. "To them," he murmured. "The Bigfoot." Corbin, despite his shock, felt his curiosity peak. But why here? Why in this specific spot? The elderly man sighed. "It's an old tale. This entire region is riddled with underground tunnels. They use them to move around, stay hidden. But every once in a while, one gets curious or ventures too close to the surface." "And the blue light? A beacon, perhaps? A warning?" "I've never dared to find out," the man replied, a haunted look in his eyes. Corbin's mind raced. If the legends were true, if there truly was a sprawling underground network stretching all the way from Texarkana to Houston, it would change everything. The world's perception of Bigfoot, the tales of their existence, everything could be rooted in fact. But he needed help. This was bigger than one man's curiosity or a singular discovery. It required experts, equipment, and most importantly, discretion. Exchanging contact information with the elderly man, Corbin made his way back to Longview. The journey was a blur, his mind occupied with the revelations of the day. He needed to reach out to Tom Law, an expert in all things Bigfoot. If anyone could help him make sense of it all, it was Tom. The sun had long set by the time Corbin reached his home. Picking up his phone, he dialed Tom's number. The line rang once, twice, thrice. "Corbin?" came the familiar voice. "Tom, I found something. Something big." And with that, Corbin began to recount the day's events, unknowingly setting into motion an adventure that would change the course of Bigfoot history forever. Chapter 2. Enter Tom Law. The steady hum of cicadas created an ambient backdrop as Tom Law picked up his phone, eyes scanning the name flashing on the screen. Corbin Foxsworthy, it read. The two had crossed paths multiple times during investigations, and Tom had come to respect Corbin for his meticulous nature and dedication. "Corbin?" Tom inquired as he answered, the tone casual but inquisitive. "Tom, I found something." "Something big," came Corbin's urgent voice. The ensuing account of the crevice, the blue light, the mysterious voices, and the old man's tales left Tom wide-eyed and intrigued. "We need to get down there," Tom mused. "This could be the discovery we've been waiting for." Gathering his thoughts, Tom quickly devised a plan. "We're going to need a team, Corbin. Specialists for this kind of exploration." "I was hoping you'd say that," Corbin admitted, relieved. "Who do you have in mind?" Over the next 2 days, Tom assembled an eclectic team, handpicking each member for their unique skills and expertise. There was Zoe, an experienced spelunker with a talent for navigating treacherous underground environments. Alex, a technophile who had pioneered the use of drones in closed spaces. Rachel, a geologist whose understanding of rock formations and underground structures was unparalleled. And finally, Elena, a biologist who had made a name for herself studying rare underground ecosystems. With the team set, they convened at Tom's Ranch, a sprawling property situated on the outskirts of Houston. Charts, satellite images, and topography maps of the Texarkana region were spread out on a large wooden table as the group strategized their next moves. "We'll send in drones first," Tom began, looking at Alex. "We need eyes inside that crevice, get an understanding of the scale, and identify any potential dangers." Alex nodded, unveiling a sleek, compact drone. "This baby is equipped with infrared and high-definition cameras. We'll get a bird's-eye view of what's below, without risking anyone's safety." The following morning saw the team driving towards Texarkana, their vehicles laden with equipment. Corbin led them to the spot he'd found, the mysterious crevice that had started it all. As they approached, the subtle hum and faint blue glow became more apparent. Without wasting time, Alex set up the drone. With a soft whir, it lifted off the ground and slowly descended into the abyss. The team huddled around Alex's control monitor, watching the live feed. The drone's lights illuminated the cavern, revealing high, arching walls adorned with shimmering stalactites. But as it ventured deeper, the team noticed something unusual. The walls bore marks, indentations, scrapes, and patterns that didn't align with typical cave formations. "That doesn't look natural," Rachel whispered, pointing at the screen. "Those look like tool marks. As if someone, or something, has deliberately carved the walls." Tom exchanged a look with Corbin, both aware of the implications. If Rachel's observations held, they were looking at an artificially made tunnel, not a naturally occurring one. The drone continued its descent, capturing footage of vast underground chambers, narrow tunnels, and even pockets of water. But what was truly breathtaking were the traces of activity, the remnants of campfires, discarded bones, and even primitive drawings on the walls depicting creatures resembling Bigfoot. "We're onto something big," Elena murmured. "This isn't just a cave. It's a habitat." As the drone journeyed further, the tunnels began to sprawl, intertwining and branching off in multiple directions. "It's like an underground city," Zoe observed, her expertise as a spelunker making her acutely aware of the scale of their discovery. The drone's exploration lasted hours, but to the team, it felt like mere minutes. They were transfixed, each revelation more astounding than the last. As Alex finally guided the drone back to the surface, the group was left in stunned silence, processing the enormity of what they'd just witnessed. Tom was the first to break the silence. "This changes everything. We've found evidence of an entire underground network, possibly stretching hundreds of miles." Corbin, his initial hunch validated, nodded in agreement. "It's the answer to the Eastern enigma. The Bigfoot population has been moving through these tunnels, undetected, for who knows how long." The team packed up, their minds buzzing with theories and possibilities. The journey back to Houston was filled with animated discussions, brainstorming sessions, and a unified sense of purpose. They had stumbled upon a secret world, hidden right beneath their feet. And as Tom gazed out of the window, the Texan landscape rolling by, he couldn't help but wonder what other mysteries awaited them in the depths below. Chapter 3. Drones in the deep. The morning sun cast a golden hue over the landscape as the team assembled at the entrance to the cave. Eager anticipation lingered in the air. Corbin, ever the early riser, was adjusting the gear while Zoe reviewed her notes on cave exploration. Tom approached Alex, who was conducting pre-flight checks on a couple of drones. "How long can these stay down there?" "Several hours, but I'll be swapping them out in shifts. That way, we get continuous footage," Alex replied, his fingers deftly calibrating the drone's sensors. Elena, with her notebook at the ready, said, "We need to document any signs of an ecosystem. If this network is as vast as we think, it could support a variety of life." Tom nodded. "All right, team. Let's delve deep and see what secrets this place holds." With that, the first drone, its lights gleaming brightly, began its descent. The live feed on Alex's monitor provided a window into a world that seemed frozen in time. The vast chambers, stalagmites reaching up like ancient sentinels, and the glittering mineral deposits on the walls were mesmerizing. But as the drone ventured deeper, it was the intricate pathways that captivated them the most. Like a subterranean labyrinth, the tunnels twisted and turned, some wide enough for a truck, others mere slits. The drone's high-definition camera captured every detail, and the infrared feature occasionally highlighted warm spots, suggesting recent activity. The drone relayed images of strange markings on the walls, curved lines, deliberate scratches, and patterns. "Those look like symbols," Corbin mused, eyes fixed on the screen. Next, they spotted deep impressions in the soft earth, imprints that resembled claws or large feet. Elena carefully documented these findings, sketching and noting their dimensions. Rachel, examining some of the formations, pointed out, "Look at the vegetation. These roots have been chewed or stripped. It's evidence of feeding behavior." As the drone's journey continued, an even more chilling discovery lay ahead. In a more expansive chamber, heaps of bones were scattered. They varied in size, from small animals to larger mammals. Zoe, peering closely, remarked, "This chamber seems strategically located. It's near water, and the tunnels leading here are broader. This could be a central hunting or feeding ground. The team exchanged glances, realizing the implications. This wasn't just a tunnel. It was a home, a habitat. The drone's exploration lasted hours. They mapped several chambers, each with its unique features. Some appeared to be resting spots, with soft vegetation lining the ground, while others were filled with tools made from rocks and bones. The deeper they went, the more intricate the network became. At one point, Alex, his eyes scanning the monitor, whispered, "I think we're under Longview now." His calculations were based on the drone's trajectory and the distance it had covered. It was becoming evident that this underground maze extended far beyond their initial estimates. As dusk approached and the Texas sky turned a brilliant shade of orange, the team packed up, their minds whirling with the day's revelations. Gathering around a campfire later that evening, Corbin broke the silence. "This is beyond anything I imagined. It's not just a pathway, it's an entire world down there." Rachel, poking the fire with a stick, added, "The geological aspects alone are groundbreaking." But the evidence of Bigfoot's activities? That's revolutionary. Tom, his eyes reflecting the fire's glow, said, "We've been looking for Bigfoot in the mountains, the forests, always above ground. But what if they've been beneath us all this time?" Elena, flipping through her notes, responded, "It makes sense. An intelligent species would seek refuge, a safe habitat. These tunnels offer protection, a steady food source, and secrecy." Zoe, her eyes distant, added, "It's not just about finding Bigfoot anymore. It's about understanding them, their culture, their survival strategies." The night deepened, and the fire's embers glowed dimly. The team, exhausted but exhilarated, knew they were on the brink of something monumental. They had uncovered a world that had lain hidden for millennia, and they were only just beginning to unravel its mysteries. Tom, looking up at the vast starry sky, whispered, "Tomorrow, we go deeper." And with that, a sense of purpose settled over the camp, the promise of discovery fueling their dreams. Chapter 4. Piecing together the puzzle, the morning sun filtered through the dense Texan foliage, casting a warm glow over the team's makeshift camp. Alex was already up, meticulously analyzing the drone footage from the previous day. The data streamed across multiple screens, revealing a mesmerizing web of tunnels, chambers, and intricate pathways. Corbin, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, joined Alex. "It's astounding. Based on our explorations, this underground network is sprawling from Texarkana all the way to Houston." Alex nodded, pulling up a detailed map of Texas. Overlaying the drone's trajectory, it was evident. A subterranean maze, like veins, ran deep beneath the Texan soil. "It's over 300 miles, Corbin. And the intricacies suggest a vast ecosystem." Elena, who was organizing her field notes, chimed in. "This is far more than mere geological formations. Some tunnels seem to be deliberately widened or modified. Natural processes could have started them, but something intervened, expanded them." Zoe's eyes widened with excitement. What if the Bigfoot have been shaping this network over generations? Carving out pathways, establishing hunting grounds, marking territories? Rachel, her geologist's mind racing, pondered aloud. The initial formation could be from ancient water flow or seismic shifts. But the deliberate signs we see, the markings, the expanded pathways, it suggests intentional modification. But the question is, why such an extensive network? Tom, poring over the data with Alex, had a theory. "It's a means of survival. These tunnels allow the Sasquatch to cover vast territories, access diverse food sources, and evade detection. By remaining underground, they're hidden from threats, both natural predators and man. As the day progressed, drone after drone was dispatched, each returning with more pieces of this colossal puzzle. They discovered multiple exit points scattered throughout the maze. Some led to dense forests, while others opened up near water sources. These exit points explained the sporadic sightings over the years, the random vocalizations reported. The Bigfoot could traverse significant distances underground and emerge miles away, all under the cloak of the subterranean world. During a short break, Corbin, his eyes shadowed with a mix of wonder and concern, approached Tom. These findings, they're revolutionary, Tom. But think about it. With such an expansive network, there's a high chance the Bigfoot population is substantial. And we might just bump into them. Tom, always the rational one, replied, I've been considering that. These are intelligent beings. The network's complexity, the hunting grounds, the rest areas, all indicate strategic thinking. If we respect their space and proceed cautiously, we should be fine. But yes, the possibility of an encounter is real. Corbin exhaled heavily. The cavern's confinement makes it different from our previous encounters in open terrains. In a tight tunnel, with limited escape routes, things could get unpredictable. As evening approached, the team huddled together, the enormity of their discovery sinking in. Elena voiced what was on everyone's mind. We need a strategy. If there's a Sasquatch encounter in these confined tunnels, we need to be prepared. Tom nodded. You're right. First, we need a warning system. Alex, can the drones detect heat signatures or movement ahead of us? Alex pondered for a moment. Yes, I can modify the infrared sensors to pick up body heat. It would give us a heads up if something, or someone, is nearby. Zoe added, we also need to be non-threatening. No sudden movements, no loud noises. If we do encounter a Sasquatch, we need to communicate that we mean no harm. Rachel, looking thoughtful, suggested, let's also mark our paths. Drop biodegradable markers. That way, if we need to retreat or navigate quickly, we have a reference. The conversation continued late into the night. Strategies were formed, contingency plans discussed. They were in uncharted territory, and the stakes were high. As the camp settled down, the soft glow of the campfire flickered over their faces. They were a team, bound together by curiosity and the thrill of discovery. And as the Texas night enveloped them, the underground mysteries awaited their unraveling. But with the promise of discovery also came the shadow of the unknown. Chapter 5. Early signs daylight was still a distant dream as the team, fueled by their findings, delved deeper into the underground network. The tunnels sprawled before them, a vast tapestry of nature's ingenuity and potential Sasquatch craftsmanship. Their path, dimly illuminated by the headlamps, seemed to absorb the light, making the surroundings appear more ominous. Elena, leading a small team, pointed to a set of imprints on the cavern floor. The prints, large and humanoid, had the signature hallmarks of Bigfoot, broad, five-toed, with ridges hinting at dermal patterns. These are fresh, she whispered, her voice echoing slightly in the stillness. Maybe a day old, 2 at most. Zoe crouched beside her, examining them closely. Directional pattern suggests movement towards the deeper sections. Whatever made these, it's leading us further in. Corbin and Tom joined them, and after a brief examination, a palpable air of excitement enveloped the group. However, That exhilaration was momentarily overshadowed when, from deep within the tunnels, a haunting vocalization echoed. It was a series of long, melancholy howls, fading into a series of rapid clicks and grunts. The sound seemed to permeate the very walls of the cavern, reverberating through the still, underground air. Rachel, her face pale, whispered, "That's no animal I know of." Tom nodded, his face reflecting the gravity of the situation. "It's them. We're not alone in these tunnels." Alex, always the pragmatist, pulled out a handheld digital recorder. "I'm capturing this. We can analyze the frequency and patterns later." The vocalizations eventually faded, replaced by the all-encompassing silence of the underground. Yet, the message was clear. The Bigfoot were near, maybe observing them, aware of their presence. Deciding to utilize this opportunity, Tom suggested, "We should set up infrared cameras. We need to capture evidence, but we also need to be aware of their movements. It's essential for both research and safety." With the team's agreement, they began deploying small, motion-sensitive infrared cameras at strategic points throughout the tunnels, near the water sources, potential hunting grounds, and resting areas identified from the drone imagery. The cameras were discreet, designed to blend with the surroundings. Hours turned into days, and every day the team retrieved and replaced memory cards, hoping to capture evidence of their elusive neighbors. The initial footage was frustratingly barren, just the usual cave-dwelling critters, water drips, and the occasional flutter of bats. However, as they moved deeper into the maze, the footage became more intriguing. One camera, positioned near a suspected feeding ground, showed a fleeting shadow, large and vaguely humanoid, passing across the lens. Another, near an underground water source, picked up rapid movement, just a blur in the infrared, but substantial in size. But the most compelling evidence was from a camera located deep within the network. The footage, though grainy, showed the partial profile of what appeared to be a Bigfoot, its eyes reflecting the infrared, staring curiously at the camera for a few seconds before moving on. When Tom played the footage at the makeshift camp, the team sat in rapt attention. The air was thick with tension, excitement, and a dose of fear. The proximity of their subjects was becoming very real. Elena voiced everyone's thoughts. "We're close. Closer than we've ever been." Corbin, his hand resting on the grainy print of the foot imprint, replied, "Yes, but it's a double-edged sword. Our excitement to document them should not overshadow the importance of respect and caution." Rachel, staring at the still of the Bigfoot's eyes, said softly, "There's intelligence there. Curiosity too. But we're in their home. We're the intruders." Tom, ever the leader, concluded, "Tomorrow, we go deeper, guided by this evidence. But let's remember, every step is a step into their world. We tread carefully, always." As the team bedded down, the weight of their discoveries pressing on their minds, the tunnels echoed again with the haunting Bigfoot calls. This time, however, it felt less like a distant sound and more like a gentle reminder of the world they had stepped into, a world of mystery, wonder, and the ever-present eyes of the Bigfoot. Chapter 6. Venturing further. Dawn's first light barely touched the surface when the team gathered, preparing to dive deeper into the heart of the tunnel system. After days of drone flights and camera placements, the lure of physically exploring a section was too tempting to resist. Tom briefed the team on safety precautions. Radios on at all times, always stay within eyesight of at least 2 team members, and remember, we're visitors here. We tread lightly, always. Corbin, gripping his flashlight, added, We've mapped out a rough pathway based on the drone footage. It seems to head deeper into a more expansive section, perhaps a sort of central hub. We'll head there. Their journey began with a descending pathway, the walls of which seemed to tell a story. As their torchlights danced over the surfaces, intricate paintings emerged, images that mirrored those found in the Grand Mesa caves. Creatures, both familiar and unknown, danced across the walls, alongside humanoid figures that bore a striking resemblance to Bigfoot. Zoe, ever the anthropologist, traced a painting with her finger. Look at these patterns, the similarities with what we found in Colorado. But there are differences too. These depict migrations, look, patterns of movement, paths. It's almost like a map. Alex, squinting at another section, added, "This seems to suggest the tunnels being an ancient route. Maybe for migration, or to escape extreme weather conditions on the surface. Or even threats from humans." Elena, always with an eye for detail, pointed towards another set of paintings that seemed to depict interactions, Bigfoot-like figures exchanging with smaller humanoid figures, possibly ancient humans. Could it be that they've had connections with our ancestors, guiding them, or even trading with them? The deeper they ventured, the more the tunnels transformed. The rough, natural caverns gave way to more structured pathways. Signs of habitation became apparent. Corbin shone his torchlight on a spacious area they stumbled upon. Multiple layers of foliage, interspersed with what looked like fur, were laid out, a nesting area. Around it were smaller chambers. Each had different storage points, piles of bones, stacks of plant matter, and even neatly arranged stones and tools. Rachel whispered, partly in awe and partly in realization, "This isn't just a passage or a temporary hideout. They live here. This is home." Tom nodded. "We're probably standing in the heart of their living quarters. That's why the outer sections were relatively empty. They've centralized their dwelling, probably for safety." Elena, inspecting some of the tools, murmured, "There's so much intelligence here. Look at this. It's not just a stone, it's a tool, carved for a specific purpose." But it wasn't just the tools and nesting that caught their attention. Along one wall, an intricate system of channels was carved out, guiding water from an underground stream into various storage points, natural cisterns. It was an underground ecosystem, designed with precision and purpose. Corbin, looking around, said, "Considering how expansive this living area is, it could cater to a sizable population." Alex, checking his equipment, added, "The air quality here is surprisingly good, considering the depth. These tunnels must have natural ventilation points." A sudden thought struck Zoe. If this is their central living area, then the chances of encountering them just increased tenfold. The gravity of that statement hung heavily in the dimly lit cavern. They were deep in Bigfoot territory, amidst what might be their most intimate spaces. Every shadow held a promise of discovery, every sound echoed with possibilities. Tom, ever the voice of reason, decided, "We document what we can now, non-intrusively. But we should not overstay. This is their home, and we should respect it." As they began to make their way back, a gentle vibration under their feet gave them pause. A rhythmic, low-frequency sound echoed through the tunnels, a communication method, perhaps? With a collective, unspoken agreement, the team quickened their pace, leaving behind the heart of the underground world. As they neared the entrance, the weight of their discoveries pressed upon them. The tunnels weren't just pathways. They were home to a community, a civilization that thrived away from human eyes. Emerging into the early evening light, the world seemed different. The vast Texas landscape stretched before them, hiding beneath it a world they were only beginning to understand. With night falling and the stars emerging, Corbin looked at Tom. We've only scratched the surface. There's a world beneath our feet, and it's teeming with life. Tom, gazing at the entrance of the tunnels, replied, Yes, but it's their world. We tread carefully, always. Chapter 7. The Great Encounter. The caverns echoed with the team's footsteps as they ventured into a new section of the labyrinthine network. The walls of this tunnel were different, smoother, as if polished over time by countless touches. A stillness, laden with expectation, seemed to settle over them. Just as they began discussing their path forward, a deep, resonating call echoed throughout the tunnel. It reverberated through the very core of their being, making the team freeze in place. Rachel whispered, That's not an echo or water dripping. That's a call. No sooner had she spoken, another call responded, this one from a different direction. Then another, and another. Within moments, the calls surrounded them. The team realized with sudden clarity, they weren't alone. In the dim light of their torches, figures began to emerge from the shadows. Tall, hulking figures, covered in fur, with deep-set eyes reflecting the torchlight. The Sasquatch. And not just one or two. They were surrounded by an entire clan. However, instead of aggression or territorial defense, the Bigfoot displayed an almost solemn curiosity. Their eyes studied the humans, just as the team studied them. Zoe whispered to Tom, This doesn't feel like an ambush. It's more like an acknowledgement. Tom nodded slowly. They know we're here. And they're not attacking. That has to mean something. One of the larger Sasquatch, presumably a leader or elder, stepped forward. Instead of vocalizations, it used its hands, drawing patterns in the air, then pointing to the team and then to various points in the tunnel. It was crude, yet unmistakably a form of sign language. Elena, who had a background in studying primate behavior, began to mimic the signs, attempting to communicate. After a few exchanges, she turned to the team, excitement evident on her face. They've interacted with humans before. Not many, just a few, but they recognize us. Tom asked, Can you ask them why they're showing themselves now? Elena signed to the leader, who responded with a series of gestures that seemed to depict humans and Bigfoot coexisting, interacting, sharing resources. They're saying that they've been aware of our presence, and they chose to come forth because we're different, Elena translated. They sensed our intent wasn't malicious. They have had both good and bad encounters in the past. But with us, they sense trust. Tom, with awe in his voice, asked, Can we see their world? Can they show us? After a few more exchanges with the leader, Elena nodded, They'll guide us. And thus began an extraordinary journey. The clan led the team deeper into the tunnels, revealing sections that no drone or camera had ever captured. The team saw vast chambers filled with bioluminescent fungi, providing soft lighting. They came across underground streams teeming with blind fish, which the Sasquatch appeared to harvest sustainably. They were shown chambers filled with harvested fruits, nuts, and plants, stored methodically, evidence of careful planning. The clan led them to a cavern where the walls echoed with the sounds of Bigfoot younglings, playing and learning. It was their nursery. The young ones watched the humans with a mix of fascination and caution, their vocalizations a soft chorus in the background. Perhaps the most astonishing discovery was an underground amphitheater of sorts, where the walls were adorned with intricate cave paintings depicting their history. Through gestures, The Sasquatch conveyed stories of their migrations, encounters, and the formation of this tunnel network. As the day turned to evening, the team was led back to where they started, the entrance of the section they had initially set out to explore. Corbin, deeply moved by the experience, voiced what everyone felt: this isn't just a habitat, it's a civilization. They have history, culture, and a deep connection to this land. The Sasquatch elder, with a deep gaze, touched Corbin's shoulder, a gesture of acknowledgement and perhaps gratitude. Tom added, "We came looking for evidence, but we've found so much more. We have been shown a world that very few have witnessed. We need to ensure we respect and protect it." The clan, as silently as they had appeared, retreated into the shadows of the tunnels, leaving behind a team of humans forever changed by the encounter. The journey back to the surface was filled with a profound sense of wonder and responsibility. The world underground was not just a habitat, it was a testament to coexistence, sustainability, and the indomitable spirit of a species that had thrived away from the prying eyes of humanity. Chapter 8. Histories unearthed. The expedition team's base camp buzzed with activity. The excitement from the recent encounter with the Bigfoot clan was still palpable. The information they'd gleaned was game-changing, and there was much to digest. Maps of the tunnel network sprawled across tables, with markers indicating points of interest. Tom, Corbin, and a few team members gathered in the main tent for a debriefing session. They were joined by Dr. Patricia Hernandez, a renowned anthropologist and historian who had been studying indigenous tales that had mentions of Sasquatch-like creatures for years. From the initial reports, these tunnels appear to be far older than we'd imagined. Patricia began, her eyes fixed on a particularly ornate sketch of the cave paintings they'd discovered. They aren't just pathways. They're chronicles of history, of journeys, and stories passed down through generations. Tom nodded in agreement. We sensed as much when we were down there. The way the clan used sign language to communicate, the indications of past human and Bigfoot coexistence. It's like unearthing a lost chapter of our shared history. Patricia leaned forward, her enthusiasm evident. There are indigenous tales, passed down orally, that speak of the tall forest people. Tribes shared stories of coexisting with them, trading, even celebrating together. But these tales were often dismissed as folklore. These tunnels, these paintings, they validate those tales. They're historical records. Corbin, still processing the sheer magnitude of the discovery, remarked, "So, these tunnels have been around for centuries?" Dr. Hernandez flipped through her notes, possibly millennia. The patterns and symbols in the cave art are reminiscent of those found in ancient Native American sites. We might be looking at evidence of a coexistence that predates many known civilizations. Elena interjected. The Bigfoot clan indicated that these tunnels weren't just for traversal. They served as a refuge, a haven. With the increase in human expansion and activities, these pathways allowed them to continue their way of life, undisturbed. Tom added, it also explains their widespread presence across the terrain. These tunnels, functioning as highways of sorts, allowed them to move, hunt, and forage without coming into constant contact with humans. Rachel, who had been studying the cave's environmental data, chimed in. The consistent temperature, availability of water sources, and protection from elements would have made these tunnels an ideal habitat. Over time, with increasing human encroachment, it seems the Sasquatch chose to stay underground. Patricia, lost in thought, murmured, "What fascinates me is the evident societal structure. They have designated storage areas, nesting quarters, even what appeared to be a gathering or ceremonial space. The tunnels were more than mere hideouts. They were cities, civilizations. The group sat in contemplative silence, each lost in the weight of their discovery. After a moment, Corbin voiced the concern they all felt. We have a responsibility here. The world will want to know, and this place, these creatures, they'll be vulnerable. Tom, with a resolute expression, declared, we need to approach this with utmost care. Before anything goes public, we should have measures in place to ensure the protection and preservation of these tunnels and their inhabitants. Elena agreed. This is an anthropological goldmine, yes. But it's also the home of the Bigfoot. We owe them their privacy. Patricia added, the academic world and the public will be immensely interested. But we need to ensure controlled access. Collaborative research, with guidelines. We don't want this to become another tourist attraction. The team spent the next few hours laying out the framework for a protective measure. Working with local authorities, conservationists, and indigenous representatives would be crucial. They were on the brink of revealing a monumental discovery, and the way forward was fraught with challenges. But they were united in their purpose, to honor the legacy of the tunnels and their enigmatic inhabitants. Chapter 9. The outside world intrudes. The sun painted a golden hue over the small Texas town, a sharp contrast to the chaotic undercurrent of excitement that had taken hold. It started as a whisper, a rumor shared in hushed tones in diners and at gas stations. But whispers have a way of becoming loud, and before anyone realized it, the town found itself thrust into the limelight. RVs, vans, and cars with number plates from all over the country began to fill the usually empty parking spots. Journalists with cameras, amateur Bigfoot hunters with their gear, and adventure seekers with dreams of underground escapades made their presence known. Drone enthusiasts sent their gadgets up into the sky, hoping for a glimpse of the entrances to the mysterious tunnels. Local businesses thrived. Motels had no vacancies, and restaurants had wait times extending for hours. Some entrepreneurs even began offering Bigfoot tours, taking eager tourists to spots near reported sightings or close to the now famous Creek Crevice. T-shirt stands sprung up overnight with slogans like, I saw Bigfoot in Texas, and Underground Sasquatch Hunter. But not everyone saw the sudden attention as a blessing. Many locals were concerned about their peaceful town being turned into a media circus. There were murmurs of displeasure about the influx of outsiders, the noise, and the sheer disregard for personal space. Maggie, the town librarian and a lifelong resident, expressed her worries. It's not just about the town's peace. It's about that of the Bigfoot. If what they say is true, and these creatures live below us, they deserve their privacy. Tom and Corbin, sipping coffee at a diner, took in the scene outside, the bustling street, the curious tourists, and the ever-present cameras. This has spiraled out of control, Corbin sighed, adjusting his cap to shield his eyes from a camera flash. Tom, brow furrowed, agreed. We knew the news would break eventually, but this is pandemonium. We need to act fast. Their conversation was interrupted by Jenna, a young local reporter. Tom, Corbin, any comments about the tunnels? Everyone's eager to know. Before they could answer, a voice boomed across the diner. It was Mayor Daniels, a burly man with a strong Texan drawl. People, listen up. We appreciate the interest, but let's not lose our heads. This is still our town. Respect it. Corbin, seizing the moment, stood up. Folks, the tunnels and what they might contain are still under investigation. We need time and space. Trust us. You'll have the full story when the time's right. After the crowd dispersed, Tom pulled Corbin aside. We need a plan. We have to control access, set boundaries, and decide how this story gets told. Corbin nodded. First things first, we need to block off the main entrances. As for the media, maybe we can hold a press conference, share some basics to satisfy their curiosity. But no specifics about locations. As days turned into nights, the duo, along with key members of their team and supportive locals, worked tirelessly. Barriers were erected near entrance points, and guards were posted. The town council, seeing the gravity of the situation, approved resources for the protection of the tunnels. A press conference was organized, with Tom, Corbin, and Dr. Patricia Hernandez addressing a sea of reporters, cameras, and microphones. Tom started, "We stand here today, on the brink of a potentially monumental discovery. But with great discovery comes great responsibility. We owe it to the Sasquatch and our town to proceed with respect and caution." Dr. Hernandez added, "The historical and anthropological significance of these tunnels cannot be overstated. We ask for patience as we study and learn. This isn't just a story about Bigfoot. It's a story about our shared past." Corbin concluded, "In the coming weeks, there will be controlled access for select researchers. We are setting up a system to ensure that. But for now, we need space to work and protect the integrity of what lies beneath." The press conference did help control the narrative to an extent. Most media outlets ran stories emphasizing the importance of preservation and respect. However, the allure of the unknown still attracted many, keeping the town busy. As night descended, Tom, Corbin, and their team sat around a campfire near the tunnel entrance. The weight of their responsibility hung heavy. "We've done our part for now," Elena mused, "but the world's eyes are on us. We must tread carefully." Tom, staring into the flames, whispered, "We're guardians of a secret now, stewards of a tale as old as time. Let's hope we're up to the task." Chapter 10. The strain shows as days turned into weeks, the barrage of attention showed no sign of slowing. The town that once resonated with the slow rhythm of daily life now hummed with a constant buzz of activity. Campgrounds sprouted up like mushrooms after the rain, and every available spot near the entrances to the underground world seemed occupied by eager enthusiasts. Tom, on one of his regular expeditions into the caverns, observed a palpable change in the atmosphere. Where once the tunnels echoed with the mysterious sounds of the Bigfoot clan, now there was an uneasy silence. The usually curious eyes that observed him from the shadows now seemed to dart away, filled with trepidation. Corbin, too, had begun to notice subtle shifts. The vibrant markings and signs of active life within the caves, such as freshly picked vegetation or newly arranged sleeping areas, seemed to be dwindling. In their place, he found litter discarded by careless intruders, plastic wrappers, bottles, and even graffiti on some of the cave walls. One evening, as Tom ventured deeper into a familiar section, he found a tunnel that appeared to have suffered damage. Parts of the ceiling had crumbled, likely due to inexperienced spelunkers trying to carve their own paths or take souvenirs. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. Their discovery was inadvertently causing harm to the Bigfoot's ancestral home. Gathering the team together in their makeshift base camp, Tom presented his findings. Dr. Hernandez, a key member of their group, shared her observations. "The clan is under stress. We can't underestimate the psychological impact this is having on them. Their sanctuary is being invaded, and they're retreating further and further away." Elena, the tech whiz of the group who had set up the infrared cameras, shared her data. "There's been a 70% reduction in movement detected in areas close to the entrances. They're either retreating deeper or staying incredibly still. The weight of their responsibility bore down even more heavily on Tom and Corbin. The euphoria of the initial discovery was long gone, replaced by the gnawing worry of the consequences of their actions. "We have to do something," Corbin stated firmly, his usually calm demeanor now edged with urgency. "We need a way to coexist, to protect them, and yet also give the public the knowledge they crave." Dr. Hernandez proposed an idea: education. "We need to educate the public. If they understand the significance of what's below and the potential harm their actions might cause, maybe they'll be more respectful." And so, a plan began to form. Tom reached out to some of his contacts in the academic world, setting in motion the creation of an educational outreach program. The team would host lectures, workshops, and even virtual tours of select parts of the tunnels to satiate the public's curiosity without physically intruding on the Bigfoot's habitat. A makeshift auditorium was erected near the primary entrance. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, locals and visitors alike would gather, the hum of conversation filling the air. Dr. Hernandez often led the sessions, weaving a captivating narrative of history, anthropology, and the fascinating world of the Sasquatch. Through photos, videos, and interactive sessions, attendees could virtually explore the tunnels, understand their significance, and most importantly, recognize the need to preserve them. Corbin collaborated with local schools, ensuring that the next generation was equipped with knowledge and respect for the mysterious neighbors below. The sessions became wildly popular, and soon, the same media that had sensationalized the discovery began to broadcast these educational seminars. The narrative was shifting. Still, not everyone was on board. A few thrill seekers, dismissive of the warnings, continued to try and sneak into the caverns. But the town, realizing what was at stake, rallied together. Volunteer patrols were organized, and anyone found trespassing faced heavy fines. As the weeks turned into months, the combined efforts of the team and the community began to make a difference. The number of intruders decreased, and Tom's subsequent expeditions showed signs of life returning to normalcy within the tunnels. The clan, though still wary, began to reappear in areas they had previously abandoned. One evening, as the last rays of the sun painted the sky with shades of pink and gold, Tom stood at the entrance of the cavern. Deep within, he heard the familiar resonating calls of the Bigfoot clan. A smile spread across his face. Their efforts were bearing fruit, and the balance, though delicate, was being restored. Chapter 11. Bridging two worlds in the heart of the town. The community hall, a large wooden structure with tall windows and a pitched roof, had seen many events over the years. From town celebrations to heated debates, the hall was the pulse of the community. Now, it was about to witness an event unparalleled in its history. Tom, with his silver hair neatly combed back and wearing a crisp white shirt, stood at the center of the stage. To his left, Dr. Hernandez and Elena were busy setting up a large projector screen and testing audio equipment. The room buzzed with excitement, the wooden chairs quickly filling up with curious townspeople, a smattering of journalists, researchers from various fields, and notably, representatives from the Bigfoot clan. The clan's presence was evident in the large curtain that partitioned the back of the hall, behind which their distinct silhouettes moved about, communicating in their unique series of clicks, hums, and gestures. The town hall's aim was clear. It was to be an avenue of communication, a platform to bridge two worlds that had coexisted in parallel, mostly in ignorance of each other, for generations. Through a series of presentations, discussions, and shared activities, the sessions aimed to foster understanding and mutual respect. Good evening, everyone, Tom began, his voice echoing through the hall. Thank you for being here. Today, we embark on a unique journey, one that, I hope, will pave the way for a future where we respect, understand, and coexist with our neighbors from the deep. The session kicked off with Dr. Hernandez unveiling a series of cave paintings from the tunnels. These intricate artworks, some possibly centuries old, depicted the daily life of the Sasquatch, their rituals, hunts, and most notably, their interactions with humans. These paintings, Dr. Hernandez explained, hint at a time when our ancestors and the Bigfoot clans coexisted peacefully, sharing resources, knowledge, and perhaps even stories. As the evening wore on, representatives from the Bigfoot clan, with Tom and Corbin's assistance, showcased their unique survival techniques. These included demonstrations of how they used specific rocks to start fires, their efficient ways of preserving food, and even their intricate methods of communication. One poignant moment arose when an elderly Sasquatch, through a series of gestures translated by Tom, recounted tales of their ancestors. These were stories passed down through generations, preserving the history and wisdom of their clan. The audience sat enraptured, realizing that these beings, though different in appearance, shared the same core values of family, community, and survival. The climax of the evening was an interactive session where townspeople could ask questions. A young girl, her blonde hair tied in pigtails, bravely stepped forward, her voice quivering. "Why have you always stayed hidden?" A representative from the clan, a tall figure with deep-set eyes, responded through gestures. Tom translated, "They've always been here, living alongside us. But as we grew, as our towns and cities expanded, they retreated, seeking solace in the caverns. They remained hidden, not out of fear, but out of respect, giving us space to grow." The sessions continued over several days, each day ending with collaborative activities, games, shared meals, and even joint art projects, which saw the creation of a large mural depicting the intertwined histories of humans and Sasquatch. Slowly, a transformative environment developed. The townspeople, initially skeptical and fearful, began to see the Bigfoot clan not as enigmatic creatures but as neighbors, each with their own stories, struggles, and aspirations. And as the days turned into weeks, the fruits of these sessions became apparent. A collaborative spirit enveloped the town. Locals began incorporating some of the Bigfoot's sustainable practices into their daily lives. Groups of children would often be seen with members of the clan, learning how to craft tools or forage for food. The journalists who initially flocked to the town, hungry for sensational headlines, now reported heartwarming tales of coexistence. Researchers, fascinated by this unique blend of cultures, began chronicling the evolution of this newfound relationship. In the heart of the community, under the vast Texan sky, a unique bond was forming. It wasn't just about coexistence. It was about mutual growth, respect, and understanding. The town had become a beacon, an example of how, with open minds and hearts, two worlds could come together as one. Chapter 12. Network across nations. The town of Texarkana, once a quiet corner of East Texas, had become the epicenter of a global revelation. With its unique story of discovery, understanding, and collaboration, it was rapidly reshaping the world's understanding of the Sasquatch and their intricate underground homes. After the remarkable success of the Texan tunnel system, researchers worldwide were ignited with fervor. Questions arose in every corner, in every language. Were there more networks? Could the Sasquatch not be confined to just the North American continent but be a global phenomenon? Tom Law, now widely regarded as the leading expert in Sasquatch habitats, found himself inundated with invitations to speak at international conferences, collaborate on research projects, and led explorations in various parts of the world. His once modest home became a bustling hub, its living room transformed into a makeshift global operations center with maps, geology reports, and satellite images sprawled out across tables. Corbin Foxsworthy, with his keen intuitive sense and on-ground experience, partnered with Tom on many of these ventures. The two, hailed as the pioneering duo in Sasquatch research, embarked on a whirlwind tour. From the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest to the remote areas of the Himalayas, from the vastness of the Siberian wilderness to the untouched regions of the Amazon, they sought clues, followed leads, and listened to local legends. In Nepal, whispers of the Yeti led them to a secluded monastery where monks spoke of ancient tunnels beneath the mountains. In Siberia, legends of the Almasty unveiled networks under the permafrost. The Amazon tribes spoke of the Mapinguari, and sure enough, beneath the dense rainforests lay hidden networks connecting the remote parts of the vast jungle. Each discovery brought with it unique challenges, from different terrains to varying cultural understandings of these creatures. But the undercurrent was consistent. In every corner of the world, humans had legends, tales, and experiences of these elusive beings. The newly discovered networks only solidified the realization that Sasquatches, or their regional counterparts, had always been neighbors, living right beneath the feet of unsuspecting humans. Media outlets buzzed with updates. Documentaries, podcasts, and special reports covered every nuance of these explorations. Scholars from anthropology, archaeology, and biology came together, leading to the formation of an interdisciplinary field of Sasquatch studies. As networks across nations were unearthed, a transformative wave swept the globe. An international committee was formed, comprising top researchers, including Tom and Corbin, to establish guidelines and protocols. Their aim? To ensure these habitats remained undisturbed while allowing for controlled study and interaction. Sasquatches, once relegated to myth and folklore, now stood recognized as an integral part of Earth's biodiversity. Laws were enacted across nations to protect their habitats. Curricula in schools started including chapters on their history, habitats, and significance. Respect for these creatures became a global norm. In a monumental gathering, representatives from each discovered network met in Texarkana. The town's community hall, which had seen the first of such interactions, now witnessed a larger, global version. Sasquatches from different regions, each with its unique features and communication styles, interacted, observed, and learned from one another. It was a sight for the ages, a true testament to the interconnectedness of life on Earth. As the chapter in Texarkana came to a close, Tom and Corbin stood on the town's outskirts, looking at the horizon, reflecting on their incredible journey. "It's not just about discovery," Tom, Corbin remarked, his voice thoughtful. "It's about understanding, respect, and most importantly, coexistence." Tom nodded, his gaze distant. "We've unveiled a world hidden in plain sight. Now, it's our responsibility to ensure it remains preserved and respected." And as the sun set, casting a warm glow over the Texan landscape, the world was not as it once was. It was larger, richer, and infinitely more wondrous. The network across nations had bridged not just tunnels but hearts and minds, redefining humanity's place in the vast tapestry of life. Chapter 13. The Balance Act. Texarkana was alive with activity. Ever since the groundbreaking discovery of the Sasquatch tunnels, the small town had transformed. Tourists, journalists, and researchers thronged the streets, eager for a chance to glimpse or understand the mysterious creatures that lived beneath. But with this influx of humanity came new challenges. A group of younger Sasquatches, curious and fearless, began to venture close to the town's boundaries. Their massive footprints were found near homes and even in local parks. Late-night sightings became more frequent as they seemed to want to observe these outsiders who showed such fascination with their world. Tom Law, though initially thrilled by the global recognition, started to see the adverse effects of this intrusion. His intentions had always been pure, driven by fascination and a need for understanding. However, the encroachment of the outside world into the once peaceful sanctuary of the Sasquatch made him question the ramifications of their discovery. "What have we done, Corbin?" Tom sighed one evening as they sat on Corbin's porch, gazing at the now ever-present crowd at the entrance of the cave system. This was their refuge, their home. And now it's turning into a tourist spot. Corbin took a deep breath, understanding Tom's turmoil. "It's the price of discovery, Tom. Every time humans find something unique, there's a rush to explore, to exploit. But remember, we're here. We can steer this. We can protect them." As they grappled with their role in this unfolding drama, the team witnessed subtle changes in the behavior of the Sasquatch clan. The elder Sasquatches, wise and patient, maintained a distance, occasionally communicating their concerns through signs and sounds. But the younger ones, intrigued by the gadgets, vehicles, and the sheer number of people, showed a keen interest. Some even mimicked human actions, throwing balls or attempting to use simple tools. It was a delicate situation. While it was heartening to see these gentle giants show interest, it also presented a significant risk. What if a young Sasquatch, driven by curiosity, ventured too far and found himself amidst a panicked crowd? The town was divided. Local businesses thrived with the influx of tourists and media. Hotels were fully booked, restaurants saw long waiting lines, and souvenir shops sold out. However, many longtime residents missed the tranquility of their town and voiced concerns about the Sasquatch's well-being. Meetings were held, and town halls became the epicenter of passionate debates. The overriding sentiment? Finding a balance. Tom, with his newfound influence, proposed a solution: create a controlled environment for interaction. Designated areas where the Sasquatches felt safe and could choose to approach if they wished. Restrict access to the cave systems, allowing only a limited number of researchers and visitors under strict supervision. Education is the key, Tom addressed the crowd during one of the sessions. We need to teach our visitors about these creatures, their way of life, their needs. If they understand, they'll respect. The proposal was met with nods of agreement. Over the next weeks, the entrance to the tunnels was fenced, guards were positioned, and signboards were erected, detailing the guidelines for interaction and emphasizing respect for the Sasquatch's privacy. Visiting hours were established, and the younger Sasquatches, under the watchful eyes of their elders, would occasionally come forward, engaging with the odd visitors, their massive hands gently taking offered fruits or toys. The media played a positive role too. Stories highlighting the significance of the tunnels, the unique culture of the Sasquatches, and the need for their protection were broadcasted globally. Slowly but surely, a balance was being achieved. As months rolled by, a new equilibrium settled over Texarkana. The initial frenzy waned, replaced by genuine respect and admiration. Schools organized field trips, teaching children about coexistence and respect for all creatures. The Sasquatches, in turn, grew accustomed to the controlled interactions, with the elders occasionally sharing their wisdom and tales of old. One evening, As Tom and Corbin walked alongside the fenced entrance, a young Sasquatch approached them, his eyes full of curiosity. With gentle hands, he offered Tom a beautifully crafted stone tool, an evident replica of the ones humans used. Tom accepted it, emotion evident in his eyes. It was more than just a tool, it was a symbol. A symbol of trust, of bridging worlds, and of a balance achieved. And as the sun cast its golden hue over Texarkana, it illuminated a town transformed, a beacon of understanding, respect, and coexistence. Chapter 14. Future Foundations in the Heart of Texarkana. Amidst the scenic beauty and the mysteries of the subterranean world, a new establishment rose. The Sasquatch Sanctuary Foundation, SSF, was its name, a beacon of hope for the future of human and Sasquatch relations. As the whirlwind events of the past year settled, Tom and Corbin realized the need for a structured approach to preserve, study, and maintain the newfound relationship with the Bigfoot clan. With the global interest the tunnels had garnered, they were keenly aware of the responsibility they held. Tom, being the visionary he was, proposed the establishment of SSF. "This isn't just about preserving a habitat," he declared during one of the town meetings. "It's about preserving a legacy, a testament to what humanity can achieve when we respect and learn from the world around us." Corbin, ever the grounded one, took charge of the logistics. Together, with a team of anthropologists, environmentalists, and local representatives, they structured the foundation's objectives: research and study. With controlled access to the tunnels, researchers could now understand the Sasquatch's way of life, their history, and their intricate connection to the environment. This was not invasive research, it was collaborative. Many of the Sasquatches, especially the younger ones, took active interest, often guiding researchers to hidden chambers that told tales of ancient times. Conservation and preservation. The tunnels weren't just a dwelling, they were a living, breathing ecosystem. The foundation ensured its conservation, restoring sections damaged by prior human activity and maintaining the natural balance. Education and awareness. The SSF became an educational hub. Schools, colleges, and institutions from across the world integrated the Sasquatch studies into their curriculum. The foundation organized workshops, seminars, and field trips, debunking myths and reinforcing the narrative of coexistence. Community building. It wasn't just about the tunnels or the Sasquatches. It was about the community. The foundation worked towards the upliftment of Texarkana, ensuring that the local businesses thrived and that the community reaped the benefits of the global attention. As months turned into years, SSF grew in prominence. Researchers published papers unveiling the mysteries of the Sasquatch lineage, their unique communication patterns, and their sustainable living practices which humans could learn from. Tom, with his charisma and passion, became the face of the foundation. His speeches, often filled with anecdotes of his interactions with the Sasquatch clan, captivated audiences globally. He spoke of a future where humans didn't fear the unknown but embraced it with open arms and minds. Corbin, on the other hand, found joy in the grassroots. He led field trips, teaching young minds the importance of respect, empathy, and understanding. To many in Texarkana, he was a hero, the man who had brought the world to their doorstep and yet ensured that their peace wasn't disrupted. One of the Foundation's most successful ventures was the Collaborative Insight Project. Selected members of the Bigfoot clan worked alongside human researchers. They showcased their hunting techniques, their knowledge of herbs and natural medicines, and even their unique way of storytelling through intricate cave paintings. It was a partnership like no other, where each party learned and grew from the other's knowledge. And as the foundation flourished, so did the bond between humans and Sasquatches. The initial apprehension faded, replaced by mutual respect. The Sasquatches, with their deep-rooted wisdom, taught humans the art of sustainable living, of being one with nature. Humans, in turn, introduced them to the wonders of their world, ensuring always to prioritize the clan's comfort. The story of Texarkana, of the tunnels, of the incredible Sasquatch clan, wasn't just a tale of discovery. It was a testament to the power of unity, of what could be achieved when two worlds, seemingly different, come together with open hearts. In the years that followed, the Sasquatch Sanctuary Foundation became a symbol, not just of conservation, but of hope. Hope for a future where humans didn't dominate but coexisted. Where the lines between myth and reality blurred, giving way to understanding. And as the sun set on a particularly chilly evening in Texarkana, Tom and Corbin stood at the entrance of the tunnels, looking in. The soft, resonating calls of the Sasquatch echoed, mingling with the laughter of children playing nearby. Tom looked at Corbin, a smile playing on his lips. "We did it," he whispered. Corbin nodded, his eyes misty. "Yes, we did. Here's to a future of endless possibilities." And as darkness enveloped the world, the tunnels shone brightly, a beacon of hope, of unity, of a future where two worlds became one. Chapter 15. An age-old secret. It was a quiet evening at the Sasquatch Sanctuary Foundation. The soft hum of activity, which had now become routine, filled the air. Researchers and scientists, both eager and seasoned, busied themselves with their work, often glancing at the entrance to the mysterious tunnels that had altered the course of their lives. Tom was in his office, poring over some notes from the recent collaborative insight project. Corbin, on the other hand, was involved in a passionate discussion with a group of young students about the intricate cave paintings they'd discovered. Their laughter and chatter echoed through the halls, creating an ambiance of fervent energy. It was amidst this seemingly ordinary day that an extraordinary revelation was about to unfold. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue over the landscape, a figure approached the foundation. It was Narek, the eldest member of the Bigfoot clan. Known for his wisdom and calm demeanor, Narek rarely ventured out from the depths of the tunnels, preferring the solace and memories they held. His presence caught the immediate attention of Tom and Corbin, who paused their activities to greet the venerable elder. "Narek," Tom began, his voice filled with genuine warmth, "it's an honor to have you here. What brings you to the surface today?" Narek, with his piercing eyes and towering stature, took a moment before speaking. "I come bearing knowledge, a tale that our ancestors whispered through the caverns for generations. With the union of our worlds, I believe it's time for this tale to be shared." Intrigued, Tom and Corbin ushered Narek into a private chamber. Seating themselves, they waited in anticipation, the weight of the moment pressing upon them. Narek began. "Our tunnels, as vast and intricate as you've discovered them to be, are but the surface of a deeper, more ancient world. Beneath us lies another network, older than any Sasquatch can recall, carved by forces beyond our understanding." Corbin leaned forward, absorbing every word. "Why have we not come across these tunnels yet?" Narek replied, "They are hidden, guarded by nature and time. These tunnels are said to be the heart of our lineage, holding answers to questions even we Sasquatches ponder." Tom's eyes shone with a mixture of excitement and reverence. "Tell us more, Narek. What secrets do these ancient tunnels hold?" Gathering his thoughts, Narek continued, "Legend speaks of a chamber deep within this older network. This chamber, illuminated by crystals that have never seen sunlight, contains the chronicles of origins. It's said to be a place where the very essence of our ancestors resides, detailing our history, our purpose, and our bond with this land. Corbin, always the pragmatist, raised an eyebrow. And no one has ever been there? Narek sighed. A few ventured in search of it, drawn by the allure of the unknown. But the path is treacherous, filled with challenges both physical and spiritual. Those who returned spoke of mazes that shifted, echoing voices, and an overwhelming sense of timelessness. They never found the chamber but came back changed, with a deeper understanding of themselves and the world. Tom, deeply moved by the narrative, whispered, "It's not just about discovery, is it? It's a journey of the soul." Narek nodded, "Indeed. The tunnels, the chamber, they are a reflection of our essence. To seek them is to seek understanding, to embrace both our light and our shadows." Silence enveloped the room. The magnitude of Narek's revelation weighed heavy, offering both a challenge and an opportunity. Finally, Corbin broke the silence. "We've come so far, together, as allies. This could be the next step in our journey. But it's not a decision to be taken lightly." Tom agreed. "If we venture forth, it will be with respect, understanding, and the aim to learn, not conquer." This could redefine not just Sasquatch history, but human history as well. Narek, sensing the genuine intent in their words, offered a slow nod of approval. "When the time is right, and if your hearts are true, the path will reveal itself." As dusk gave way to night, Narek retreated to the comforting shadows of the tunnels, leaving Tom and Corbin with a promise of adventure, discovery, and enlightenment. The story of the tunnels, of the Sasquatch, and of Texarkana had taken another unexpected turn, reminding all that the journey of understanding is never truly over. And as the stars twinkled overhead, hinting at mysteries of their own, one thing became clear. The tale of Tom, Corbin, and their Sasquatch allies was far from over. The horizon beckoned with promises of ancient truths, waiting to be unearthed. The age-old secret had breathed new life into the legend, ensuring that the world would be waiting, with bated breath, for the next chapter in this incredible saga. If you have enjoyed our paranormal scary story about the America's Bigfoot Chronicles, please visit us at Paranormal Untold Stories. Come to listen to more of our scary stories collection. Paranormal Untold Stories encourages you to contact us if you have your own untold story that you would like our professionals team to put online as a scary story. Thank you. Please follow our YouTube channel, Paranormal Untold Stories, and encourage others to do the same. Paranormal Untold Stories.